Sorry. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the Center for the Less Good Idea. I hope everyone can hear me. My name is Neo Muyanga and welcome here. For those of you who haven't visited us before, we have a very special event this afternoon. This is in partnership with the French Cultural Institute, IFAS, and with the Windybrow Art Center, which is part of the Market Theatre Complex. We are hosting the Windybrow Youth. This is a group of young people, teenagers who are interested in performance, and we've got a theatrical performance for you this afternoon. What's interesting about it, and you will see in the handouts that are at the table just behind you, is they've made an epic poem in response to a very famous poem from the era of decolonization, negritude, that was written by one of the founders of the movement of the negritude space, Aimé Césaire, the Martinican poet, playwright, and politician. And when he was writing about it, he was just about to leave France, his intellectual home, to return to the Caribbean, to contribute, as he said it, to the nation as it was developing and as it was freeing itself from colonial France. Today, we're seeing a group of youth speak back to this era from Hillbrow. So his text was called A Notebook of a Return to the Native Land. Theirs is a notebook about a night in Hillbrow. They are coming from this area of East Joburg, Hillbrow, Berea, Yeovil. These young people are writing about their life experiences. They're writing about the detritus that they encounter. They write about the love stories they face. They write about the games they play. You'll see in the hall here, we've got an exhibition that has been curated by Stacy, who's one of the people who worked with them, and our own Nthabiseng Malaka, who's our designer, who designed the set. And this exhibition is a process, it's a process recording of how the young people made this production. So please spend some time, because I think this will give you some added information. There's some references, photographs, and also at the table you have some reading matter, and just underneath this red door. After the performance today, we'll have a Q&A with the young people, so you're welcome to engage with them and find out more about what's inspired them. The performance itself is very short. It's about 45 minutes long. We hope that you enjoy it. Welcome again, and we'll see you at the end of the show.
In the hungry hours of the early morning,
in the starved hours of the early morning,
in the starved hours of the night. Get away, I said. You bastard, as a homeless man ran in the rain, dragging his sleep to look for a shelter.
How we can the breath of inexhaustible thought. Of men arrested, staring with hungry eyes from behind the bars of a police truck.
The drunken breath of a beggar at the end of happy hour.
The frail light of black windows, hungry, hail marked with bullets, minds blown to bits by drunkenness, Hillbrow swimming in the gutter mouth of this city, in these streets of dust.
A group of people shout, "Set the monsters free!" An anguished malaria call as the men head a river of sewage, a bed of rubbish rising on the far side of a disaster.
My mother, whose daily and nightly feet pedal for another tiring hunger.
A hunger that bloats and eats stomachs.
Nini! Moya liboma izoma!
The singer whose teeth rest into the last of flesh of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night, the earth is its own forgotten ground, a forgotten people.
Consumption. Disowning all freedom at the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
These neighborhoods whose blood has soaked into pavements and vanished. These walls that have eyes but cannot speak. Homeless men pick through my brain. Looking for plastic bottles and metals, shipwrecked thoughts looking for land, a home in this city of dust and petrol. Fumes rise, and I can feel the blood coursing through my veins. My pupils contract and dilate, making things small and big.
A small city, a big man.
High plates.
In height alone, slipping away. The small hands of a tall building, a skyscraper reaching out to the sky, hence the clouds.
The humbling hands igniting the wounds of the community. A bent-out supplication and a fading electricity, leaving us enslaved to our sorrows.
At the end of the night, a hole filled with scraps of water. Blood-dried flowers scattered in the wind like the stripe of broken mothers. The sad smells of ogogo, the leaves parted in desolate disgrace.
Something beautiful, yet so ugly.
In the dark, the loud sound of silence eats my ears. The old evil decaying under the sun, the old silence broken by fevers of heat.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
Life, flat on its face, miscarried dreams of young men, every corner of the street owned by totis.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night, a shadow moves from the corner of the street. When you look into his eyes, all you see is an angry young man with miscarried dreams without hope of life.
All at the end of the last hours of the night.
feverish leprosies, denied soil, denied home.
All at the end of the last hours of the night.
L'esposo rapa Oshoto.
All at the end of the last hours of the night.
The city disowned, hides in dismay.
Feet, legs, calls for this to end. A crowd of disowning, refusing to bend. A feeble audience that disintegrates as quickly as they gather.
Running with black shoes, like a dog wanting the shoes that he stole to run after him.
In this city, there are drunkards who sing like a radio, drinking all night, drinking to forget this drunken city.
In this city,
in this city, dogs digging for meat and bones.
La ville oil, but
in this city, spitting when their name is mentioned.
In this city sewage, Nunga, dead rats, gutter floods after the rain, the black hole has lost its mind, dissolving the taken of his state voice.
Au bout du petit Martin, cette ville plate est à lui.
Vous parlez, vous avez écrit à ma phrase.
Dans cette ville inerte.
Uzathola ama-sad feelings ngela.
Futhi, kuleli dolobha elingenalutho dans cette ville vide.
At the end of a long night's hours, the beggars are hungry, and no one knows better than Umabumfundisi why he killed himself, strangled his dreams by tilting his tongue to swallow hatred, or why a woman appears to be floating in the sewerage, her black body obeying the commands of her navel, a taxi driver with a skull exploded by a bullet, a child whose hungry voice doesn't sing, drowned by the swamp of hunger. Nothing is going to come out of the elections. Nothing but hunger can raise voices. Great hunger. Hunger buried deep in the child's hungry heart. An old life smiles, lips apart in the deserted anguish of poverty. A woman and a baby begging for salvation. A woman selling hope under the rain of humiliation.
The roof of the building collapses under a flow of tears.
Alcoholic bottles, and the orange and the yellow of a warning. Flies settle on a nauseating smell, and rotten rubbish fills my mouth.
Rotten fish stuck in an isolated pot. At the end of the night, falling apart buildings, drag queens and prophets who reject the sun's light.
In this strange city, a patch of ringing water, the silence of fire that awaits a spark, a man showering his famished voice in the songs of freedom.
The darkness brings fears to the mental monsters. The long hours of the night never end. Poverty leaves us homeless with nothing to eat. Humans dehumanize humans, each man for himself.
A devastated city refusing to give up. A city of dreams and desires, hoping for the best.
This city, sy is goud. Op die verloonende hoogtes verwoes die asemloosheid die uitgehongerde priester. Die neggerkind het 'n stem met die diepste leuns doodgemaak. Dit is oproepe en sy gedagtes mens soos sindelare wat skielike graf aanneem. Sy vrou pyn tot in die nagure. Vreemde opvoed bring vergiet om blikke, bevoorregte lywe glip maklik weg in klim. Nie meer die goue son uit nie. Sy is die koningin van die grond en hoofstad rivier. Die dwarre vrou se hart verweb nie alles nie. Sy ken die pyn van sy verraad of die honger van sy vonke. Die honger wat alleen terugtoon, het 'n nag onder die stort van die dooies.
Mr. Macaroni! Mr. Macaroni, riding on the bicycle.
If you wanna marry me, Mr. Macaroni, bam bam, Sicilia, bam bam, Sicilia, bam bam, Sicilia, Mr. Macaroni, bam bam, bam bam, bam bam, Mr. Macaroni, bam bam, bam bam, bam bam, Mr. Macaroni.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
This God-forsaken city with both hands chopped off, unable to hold on to its skeleton. This city where a prostitute is lifting her dress and bodies are money. This city where drugs live next door and there is an extra room that is occupied by poverty, so it's part of the family.
Violence is on the other side of the door. So when I take a walk, the air is laced with decay, mosunyanyama, gun smoke, and garbage. Bambila sound as sirens. Kasi elembo, bemondoki, is a union.
The teacher in his classroom, idiotic and mad, scratching chalk numbers into black skin, and children dreaming. A single child commands the daylight, rejects the liberator, itches, and the shoe of one makes the sign of suicide.
A little savage disowning the crowd, energetic and free, drumming freedom unforeseen, dreams fermenting in the white oblivion.
Political parties licked dead ugly faces across walls, but there is no change. Just torn posters and broken legs, slaves in diamonds and golden chains, Nike sneakers as shackles, and minds that are held captive by 7-inch smartphones.
In this city, we do nothing. We point at the government with one finger, but 3 fingers point back.
Fingers are empty gun barrels. Eyes are so shut with wine.
Hearts are epileptic, lips cracked, and spirits methylated.
Bonjour, bonjour. Les jambes sont des câbles électriques cassés. Mais cette vague drôle est un grand homme, mais avec les dreads. Excusez-moi s'il vous plaît, mais cette bouteille est un réfrigérateur rempli de produits d'épicerie.
What's up?
The ripened sun spits and hisses.
A child's smile is lost in this small Khethukuthula city. This city that disengages itself from humanity. Disowned, it can never be drummed back into existence.
The world's sap has been drained by the bloated belly of infernal businesses.
A group of hyenas laughing and hitting on homeless children.
Mwana oya bungi, azakobenda manasashia sukari ya pamba.
Lovers in an empty park looking for body parts.
Boys playing soccer on dead grass, shooting balls through broken swings and fences that have been ripped open like tin cans.
Flats burning behind locked doors and closed windows.
Abatoti planning their next move.
Mr. Macaroni.
A dead man grinning in front of the school entrance.
People silent to their fate, lost in the corridor of darkness.
In this city, different people live in the same building, like they are one big family.
Namboka oyo, batu ndenge na ndenge. Oyo bazouta, na mikili ndenge na ndenge. Kasibiso nyoso toloba kamunoko moko.
Bukhoni bya ukhethulla le ushilo. Both, boikakeji, maka, wega, bufura, ngangishaka.
This crowd has fist of anger inside their throats.
If this crowd could speak, it would say,
Iya. In case kuyashota ukudla. In case kungenatshwala, iya.
It would say, in this city, we have problems. No water, no electricity, nothing to cook with, nothing to wash with.
If the streets could speak, they would say,
Iya.
I wish I could collapse, but how would they walk?
A burned wall. If it had to talk, it would say,
They did this because they did not want to stay. The soil, if it had to talk.
The papers would say they burned me. They trashed me. They took me to the recycling.
Ditoro tse di berekisitseng gape, madi strateng, go bona madi mashaledi a botho byaka.
we are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God.
We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching, we are marching, we are marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, we are marching, we are marching, we are marching in the light of God.
Seeing school kids reminds me of when I was at school and someone got shot in front of us.
After school is after school.
Seeing homeless people reminds me of a homeless drunk guy who nearly stabbed us. He said he was looking for ugly people to stab.
I must withstand it all. Stand sane and alive. The leaves blow left to right, how a pendulum swings. The time moves. Reminds me of the conversations I would have with my friends. Iyo bangani iyo.
When I first traveled to Johannesburg from Ulundi, KZN,
When I was younger,
We would climb up to pick fruits.
this red blood of the sunrise is like the color of strawberries,
The white cloud is like uput. We would eat.
and the cotton wool we stuff our mouths with.
After school is after school.
If Unathi was a person, he would be my father. I panic once he enters the house. He is announced by a song. He carries a stick of pain into the house.
I disappear into the thirst for Coca-Cola, the thirst for new beginnings, the uprising of blurred childhood dreams, when I used to take the wings of my joy and fly above this city.
At the end of the last hours of the night,
At the end of the last hours of the night,
at the end of the never-ending night, this city restored to the streets of my childhood, the taste of black sausage, thrown to discount blazing with spice, and the stuck fire leader, and December, not December, not the other December to December. It don't want to vibe in the street, it don't want to join in the public. All right,
and the thing called pa 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 pa. Skigi pa pa.
and boom 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 boom.
Skra.
being left out.
Planning an outfit, but when the pot goes, the sound of burning oil in the pan, the spring cleaning taking place, the sound of windows being washed in the stress. In case we are short, in case a childhood drunk with warm liquid sun. One cries, another laughs, another sings. Not only the lips sing, but the hands, legs, hips, and sing. And the streets flow with sound, voice, and rhythm.
We rise from death. We sing while sleeping, but no sounds ahead. No voice.
Dead people are our good. Our guides.
The daylight becomes bitter like the smell of rotten eggs from the rubbish. The dogs licking their wounds in the violent sun. Rain.
Permanent sleep. A fear reaper. Monster that comes to collect our souls. Bread and peanut butter with nothing to drink. A suicide. A virus. The scream of terror heard from the throats of children. A government minister. A dark cloud that strikes the sky. Getting suffocated by intractable beds. Getting hit by a rock on your head. Smoking a rock. Betrayal. Does not discriminate. Feverish. Sneezing. Witchcraft. Paraffin. Paraffin. Paraffin.
A short night after a stream of dreams, I opened my eyes to a painful reality, to a land that looks at itself in the mirror and envisions what it could be, but realizes it's not even half of that. A revolution not so far away shall take place and flip the current situation upside down, and we shall walk on the sky and look up to the ground. That is a new beginning, foreign to what it used to be. Sun rises and sets are dull and angry. The full moon is dark red. Inside the hotel it is hazy. Exit signs are dim irony at the end of the long hallways. Wildfire, bed burn, blitz. Any way you look at it, a blaze we set.
Kiss me without doubt. And if I do not have legs, it is still for you that I stand.
And I would say to it,
my mouth shall be the mouth of misfortunes which have no mouth. My voice the emancipation of those who break down in the cold dungeon of slavery.
And coming, I would say to myself,
beware essence. Beware of those turning a blind eye and assuming change will come without doing anything. Because life is a Rubik's Cube. Depression is not a no man's land. A man who seeks help is not seen as a real man.
Now I have come. Once more uncertain tomorrow before me. Not this life, this death. This death without guilt or remorse. This death with no morality, the lack of shame. This death that crawls from being to being. Fake promises thrown on top of the people. Dead bodies dropped on top of the clueless nation. Little grenades tossed on top of the freedom-seeking land. And all those meaningless deaths. Absurd beneath the heartless gangster. There's an innocent child buried in time. Seemingly pointless. Lit by just a single candle of imagination.
And coming, I would say to myself, beware my heart and mind. Beware above all denial and the infertile thinking of weakness. Because existence does not have a clear view. Because deep distress is not an exit wound. Because a man who cries out is non-existent.
Now I have come. Once more, this limping life before me. Not this life. This death. This death without tragedy or sorrow. This death with no morality. The gaping pride of this death. This death that limps from pettiness to pettiness. Little greeds heaped on top of the leader. Little flunkies heaped on top of the great savage. Little souls shoveled on top of the slaves. And all those meaningless deaths. Absurd beneath the messy schemes in my head. Fatally pointless. Lit by just a phosphorescent light bulb. And myself alone with the prostitutes down the streets calling me. The display at the end of the last hours of the night. I lift myself up.
Such meek nothingness is like a splinter under my name. This horizon is an open mouth.
These are mine. These few putrefied thousands who scare the rich. This too is mine. This city sunken in depression as though to deny itself. As though Bale Musadia Nanglebana. Hillbrow, my non-enclosure, whose bright courage stands at the back of stolen gold. Hillbrow, where freedom rose to its feet for the first time and said it believed in its own humanity. Not a corner of this world but carries my thumbprint and my hill mark in the back of skyscrapers. Who can brag of more than I? Hillbrow,
Rampolokeng,
mine too. A small cell in the juvie. The ice strengthens the small cell with black bars. The crystals of coldness. A white jailer stands guard in front of a school.
This man is mine. A man alone, imprisoned by whiteness. A man alone, defying the depression of history's ghost. A spectre who fascinates the white. A man alone in the crowd of cowards. A meerkat standing up straight against the stars of the sky.
Describe the sun above his head. There's no poison above his head. Death to the land, rolling into God raised to his arms.
only one. Let it be only one. I have no right to assess life by this black handspan. To reduce myself to this little ellipsoid and nothing trembling 4 fingers above the line. I am man, have no right to deny creation like this. Let me be contained between latitude and longitude.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
At the end of the last hours of the night.
I am cut off from the basic needs of life. Such meek nothingness is like a splinter under my name. This horizon is too short and nevers as a jailer.
Treasure?
Let us count it.
The madness that remembers.
The madness of crazy home sounds of cars and traffic.
The madness that sees.
The madness of dissipated as a Mahlangu.
And you know the rest. That 2 and 2 make 5. That Naked Street like a cat.
That muto sinanglerai. Okham trole khetsin ditin gotileng. Khafeja.
Who are we? And what? Admirable question.
By looking at the flats, I have become homeless. Kicked out of the flat, my home. In this city full of cavities, by thinking of foreign thoughts, I have become a foreigner in an unusual place filled with stinky sewage. The badge of the fake pastor, where the money drowns.
The dead! To hold back the flood of tears. To cross the sea of poverty.
Isipa salabafana singikhumbuzu Oliver Tambo. Isipa salabafana singikhumbuzu.
My mouth
Oliver Tambo
shall be the mouth of misfortunes which have no mouth. My voice, the escape of those buried in depression. On streets I have my guard up. Crime dwells on every corner. And my life is at the mercy of a tyrant with a pistol. On a blood road being dragged, I am a slave with a diamond chain around my neck. Upright in the middle of a busy city, preaching freedom to minds that don't notice they are held captive. On my black forehead, a river of sweat from the singing of war songs and chanting.
Fly away, higher than the telecom tower that resembles a skyscraper. Hibamba! Than the smoke from burning tires towards other stars when no one gives them an ear when they voice their needs and wants. The large number of people lost along the way to freedom and garbage-formed mountains. Rainbow Nation in chains for 1,000 of years.
We sing of dead leaders, bursting in memories of anger, skies of love struck by fists of blood, mornings, the burning of electric cables, the sinking of wrecked lives in the middle of nights full of the smell of wild animals.
Uzoyenzani?
Tshwanetse ke thome.
Uqale ini?
The only thing in the world that's worth beginning.
The end of the world.
Mbokana